Hi everyone, this is Dee with the Paper Drawer. I wanted to do part two of a hidden spine altering a book. And I did some mock-ups last night, so I don't spend too much time because all of you know how to sew in signatures and so forth. I'll give you a few tips or I'll show you the way that I do it just verbally, and I'll show you what it looks like. I'm sure everybody does it different, and there are a lot of people out there that I don't know, it might be you might find an easier way, but this is the way I've always done it, and it's really hard for me to change unless I find something really, really simple. So let me go through a couple of things with you. I went ahead and gutted a few more books. These Funk and Wagnall encyclopedias, I had like 35 of them, and I've altered a lot of them, and a lot of them I really altered. I mean, you won't even probably recognize it, but I'll show those when they go into my Etsy shop. But I love the size, just like the famous orations. I love those. So anyway, let me go through a couple things. I want to show you this one that when I gutted it, I actually tore the spine. Okay. The backs of all the books were marked, but I am going to cover that. That's not a big deal. The other thing I wanted to mention is that if you hold this up to the light, you could see that this is really thin. Again, it is not really altering the integrity of the book. It's just like this one that my girlfriend did. You can see it, the fibers and so forth. Again, it's white glue, or you could put something over it just to kind of hold it together. But I have another idea that I do that I think would also, it's not a problem, but solve that issue. So this one was torn when I gutted it, okay? I can do several things and I'm going to have to. Of course, the fabric's already gone. So what I do with my books is I get the Tyvek, okay? And I put the Tyvek inside. I do it on all of my books that I alter, only for the fact that if the spine does have a weak point or the fibers show, this will reinforce that and back it up, okay? So this will be on this book, and of course, then you're going to be able to see it, right? Okay, so that's when the painted muslin comes in, okay? So what I'm going to do with this book, once I finish filling it, I'm just going to take this, measure it, and it's now going to have a black spine. Not sure how, well, it might just be this size, and this might be the right, or I can make it smaller, but that's going to finish that off, and I don't think that looks too bad, okay? So that's just another idea. When you break the spine like that, there is always a fix to it, okay? That's this. And once I put this down, I take my chipboard and I lay it right in there, okay? And if you look at your book, you see the brown paper in the spine. If you make your chipboard the exact same size, you won't lose this little, I call it a dimple, this little valley here in the book. If you make it wider, you're definitely going to lose it. And some people make it wider so that they can get more signatures in. Okay, and you probably would be able to get one or two more signatures in. Again, it depends on how many pages you have in there. So if you go the full length of this, you'll lose this, but you'll gain room for more signatures, okay? So that's this one. And then here's when, again, it gutted pretty well. I might have a little fraying. I might put a little bit of glitter glue on the top just to hold it, but it's not bad. Okay, so I'll cut my Tyvek to reinforce that. And then this is going to go down in it. Okay, and I'll glue these little wings, I'll call them. Okay, and then it's ready to go. And here is the fabric that I will put over it. Okay, and I like to use manila folder. I had a thin piece of brown cardstock. It was a little thinner than cardstock, and to me it just wasn't secure enough. So I do like to use manila folder. So this manila folder, when I cut it the same size as the spine, okay, it's going to glue on the back of this fabric. Okay, then you sew your signatures in, and I'll show you that in a minute. So this book is kind of ready to go. And it's marked, written on the back. Okay, so this is a book that I did last night. I did this one different, and I like how it turns out, but I wanted to show you. I just put these bags in because I was gluing. So this one has upholstery fabric. And what I did with this one was I took it straight across. Okay, so this goes all the way to the back. Okay, and so I put the cardboard on the back of this, and I sewed in my signatures. I still have this little ridge here, and it looks like a gap, but again, remember, when you start filling it, and it's possible you might, like I said before, to get another signature in. But again, you've got to be careful, because if you get that too tight, this will not close. So I've done that before because I don't like seeing that, but everybody's got it. I mean, it's just how the book goes. Okay, so that's what it looks like. And what you could do with this, which is probably what I'm going to do, is get some cheesecloth. And I mentioned this yesterday. And I'm just going to roughly do it. That's coffee dyed. And what you could do is, and we did this with Nick the Booksmith, you can just kind of tuck this in. I would probably stand it up a little. And just kind of stuff it down there a little bit, because see, I've got this that I don't like. Okay, so it's hollow, you could see down it. And then what you could do is you can just tuck a little bit of cheesecloth so it looks like a headband. And that's what we did in Nick the Booksmith's class. So just trim that so you can cut that off. Okay, so that's what it'll look like. It doesn't look bad. Okay, and then you should still be able to see down it for a hidden spine. So that's this. I also want to mention, I mentioned something in part 1, is that you can paint the Tyvek and you cannot. It will not accept acrylic paint. The only thing it will accept is a Sharpie. So if you need to color it black so that you don't see the white, okay, you're going to have to do it before you cut it and before you glue it on. Just get a black Sharpie and just color it, and it will accept the black Sharpie. I made a note in part 1 video because I was playing with this last night and I forgot that it will not accept acrylic paint. So anyway, that's this one. And what I did with this one, I have 3 signatures, and I went ahead, it needed something, so I went ahead and just put some lace pockets in. So I'm just going to fill these, put something in them, okay? And then I put a pocket in the back because it was a little plain, so I put a pocket in the back. Okay, so something can go in it. Here's this. This would be cute. This is the fly page. Oh no, this is the fly page of the other book. But anyway, you can put a tag or something in here. So that's this book, and I'll probably put this one in my Etsy. I'm going to go through it and look at it, but it's going to be blank pages. I really like the blank naked journals now so that people can write in them or people can decorate them. Again, we left enough space, okay? And again, this is why it's nice to have some nice fabric. So that's this book, taking it all the way across, and I'm just going to leave it frayed. The pages are sticking out, and I love that. Okay, I probably, like I said, will definitely do something on the back. I might do something on the front. I'm not sure. Okay, so that's this book. Here's another one that I worked on. I got the signatures. This is going to be a naked journal again. And I'm not going to do this on camera because I have 5 signatures. So I'm going to have to figure that out, and I'm going to have to squeeze it onto this board. And it'll fit, it'll work, but it's going to be really tight, so, oops, so there won't be much ephemera in it. Okay, so it's going to be pretty close. So I'm going to see if I can do it. Again, it's going to have the same thing. It's going to have the Tyvek down. It's going to have the spine, and then it's going to have fabric. And I'll probably do the little wings on it. So it could have this fabric, for example. I'll sew the manila folder spine on the back, or glue it. And then I'll punch the holes, sew the signatures in, and then I'll glue it down. Okay, and I'll probably won't go all the way across with it. I'll cover it with other fabric or scrapbook paper. Okay, so that's how you do that. I didn't want to spend too much time showing you because all of you know how to sew in signatures, and there's I do it the way everyone does it. I mean, there's kind of only one way to do it. If you have any questions, put it below and I'll answer them for you. But I just wanted to do this. I wanted to also let you know that when you're sewing in your signature, I've had a hard time pulling the needle. And if you look at my needle, it's bent. And if also too, some people use an upholstery curved needle. I don't know if you've ever noticed that, but that's pretty handy. I might kind of go with that. I do have upholstery needles. It's just that I've never used them. But as you can see, this one is bent. I've had this one a long time. And in order to pull it through, I use one of those jar grippers. I went on Amazon and you get a pack of 6 or whatever. And then I just cut it up and I just grip the needle with it. And then I pull it through because I'm not strong enough to grab it and, you know, pull it. So I use a gripper and I just pull the needle. So that's might help you out a little bit. And I think most of you have seen these silicone, they're not brushes, they're kind of like little spatulas. I was introduced to one a long time ago, and I just kind of stuck it in my little jar. And I saw someone else using it again on YouTube, and I thought, you know, I need to bring that out and try it. I love it. So it's great to spread the glue. I use Fabri-Tac when I'm working with fabric. And when I really want to put something down, like the Tyvek, this is what I use. And then what I do is I just take this and I just kind of, you know, move it around and smear it. And then it's just really easy to clean. So it's not like you have to use a paintbrush and then you destroy the paintbrush or your finger. So these are kind of cool. Hobby Lobby has these. They had a set of 5. I think it was $6. I got some off Amazon. But Hobby Lobby has the pretty colors, handles. Okay, so that's that. And man, I want to show you the last one. And I've actually sewn this one in, again, to save a little time, but I wanted to show you. I haven't glued it. And what I did was, well, I'll show you in a minute, but this is what this looks like. It has the wings here. Okay. And this is what goes down into the book. What I did on this one, though, I accidentally glued. I had a longer piece, and I thought, I'm going to just leave it, and I accidentally glued it. It's not a problem, though, because you're not going to see it, but it just strengthens that. But this is what this underside looks like, okay? So what I did was, after I sewed it in, I put Fabri-Tac glue over it. I kind of learned that from Nick the Booksmith, just to keep it down, keep them secure. And so these are the wings that are going to be sewn down in the book. So this is what this looks like. This is a grungy one. The signatures aren't even or anything, and that's how I wanted it. So I pretty much got that. Usually I'm trying to make it exact, but it's kind of fun just to not make it exact. So anyway, here's my book. Okay, it's got the Tyvek down. It's got the chipboard down. Okay, and what you're gonna do is, because you want to cut this exactly the same size as this. Okay, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna take this and line it up. Then you know you're dead center. Okay, so once you get it down, it's a hidden spine, so do not glue this. Okay, all you're gonna glue is the wings. Okay, so all you do is bring your glue up to the edge, and it could be a little bit away from it, but bring it up to the edge and then lay this down flat. That's where this comes in handy, so you don't get lumpy glue once you spread it like this. Bring this down, okay? And you can adjust this, because if you're short, you're gonna cover it with paper or more fabric, so you're okay. I'm looking at this and I'm trying to look at the signatures. So after you glue that side, come to this side and lean it down and line up this edge to the chipboard. Okay, once you have it lined up, glue it down. Okay, another way you can check is fold the book up, close it. Okay, then you know you're right on it. Okay, and on this one, as you can see, I lost the little valley, which is fine. It doesn't matter to me. Okay, but that's how you sew in this. Okay, and this is the one that I saved, and I'm okay with it. So it's pretty good. So I'm going to glue, excuse me, this down on this page. Okay, once they're glued, I'm going to come in with scrapbook paper, and if most of you know me, it doesn't matter to me if they match or not. I'm not really a matchy person, so you can put scrapbook paper, see, right over that. This is a little heavier scrapbook paper. It could be heavier. Tim Holtz, double-sided, but this is single-sided. It's still okay, all right? So you can bring this in. Don't glue it yet, because you got to cut this side off. You can look to see how much of a gap you're going to have. Again, I would probably leave a gap. I'd advise you for that. Only for the fact that if you jam it right in and you don't get it glued, it's going to start lifting when you do this, okay? So you might as well pull it back just a little and leave a little gap. Then that way you know you got it down, okay? So this would cover this, okay? Then I would come back, before I glue it, I'd come back, make sure everything's covered and where I want it, and make sure it's straight, because sometimes the books aren't straight. Then I would go ahead and cut this edge off, okay? So I would do that with this side, and then I do the back the same way. Line this up, make sure it closes. Grab this paper, whoops, and then lay it right on top. And if you use a little thicker paper like I mentioned, you're not gonna feel that transition, okay? And I'm gonna leave a little gap on this one too. And I think that's kind of good, because you're gonna see the gap in the journal between signatures. You're going to see the same fabric. So it doesn't really matter. Okay. So that's how I do my altered books. They're a lot of fun, actually. Now that I've done those, I might get to the Journey Through Bookland one, which is this one here. Whoops, this one here. Then also what I have going is I have a Reader's Digest, and this cover is going to be completely covered, but I've gutted it. I've started some signatures for it and things, so I've got that, and that's about it. Oh, I wanted to show you one other thing, which you could do too. On one of these, and it could be a bigger one, what I might do is, I do this messy stitching, and I love it. I might use this for the inside cover of one of the books. It's a little bit thick, but I think it's okay. I think it'll work well. So that's another option. If you have a thin quilt, you could use it for the inside cover. I might even use it on one of these, because again, by the time I stitched all this, it's pretty thin. So I think that would be kind of a cool inside. So those are just some options that you have. And I think that's it. If you have any questions, leave it below. I hope I explained everything really well. And I appreciate you watching and hanging in there with me. I'll see you next time. Bye.